So we have order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We have grouping symbols, braces, parentheses, brackets, fraction bar, square root symbol, and I do need to add absolute value. Then we have exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction from left to right, whichever comes first. Okay, so let's take a look at this problem. So let's look at the grouping symbols that we have. So we have a fraction bar and we have this square root symbol, but we cannot do the square root until we do what's beneath the square root. Excuse me. So beneath this square root, we have an exponent and we have subtraction. So I need to do beneath there. So 7 squared is 49. 4 times 6 is 24. Draw my line. 15 minus 9 is 6. All right, negative 22 plus. Now 49 minus 24 is 25 over 6. The square root of 25 is 5. Negative 17 fifths. Discussion about that.
I messed up. I forgot to do the square root of 25.
Okay, okay.
I jumped too quick. Yeah, if I would have done the
That's
square root of 25, I would have came up with the same thing.
Okay, very good. All right. Discussion from anyone else? All right, let's try this one. So we'll take a minute to look at this one. Now, you don't want to let this frighten you. So the only grouping symbols we have here, we see brackets and parentheses. And so you have to start on the inside and work your way out. All right, so 9 minus 2, bracket, 1 minus. So I have to start here. So this is 5 subtract 12, and I'm going to change it. You don't have to do this. If you subtract 12, that's 5 plus a negative 12. Okay? So 5 plus a negative 12, I owe 12, I only have 5, so I'm in the whole 7. So when I compute this, I still need to keep that parenthesis. Okay? So this is a negative 7. Now, we talked about these two negatives coming together and that they negate each other. So this is 1 plus 7. I still have my brackets. 1 plus 7 is 8. Now, once I have gotten rid of these parentheses, you know, I can change this bracket to a parenthesis, but I keep it like that. Now, this 2 in front means times. 9 minus 2 times 8. That's what that means. Now, multiplication comes before subtraction. So this is 9 minus 16. 9 minus 16 is 9 plus negative 16. So you owe 16, but you only have 9. You're in the hole $7. Questions about that? Questions about this example? So we worked our way out, and then we finally got the answer. All right, try that one. So we have to use order of operations. And if you get the answer, you can just type it in the chat, and then we'll compare at the end. Okay, I see one answer. Anyone else? All right, so let's see. Okay, so in this problem, we see the fraction bar, and we do see parentheses, but if you notice with these parentheses, we don't have an operation inside of the parentheses. So these parentheses just serve to separate the number from the operation. So basically, we got that fraction bar. So the fraction bar is a grouping symbol. What it means is that we need to do the top, do the bottom, and then we need to divide. So let's do the top. So this is the top. Okay? And we talked about these coming together and canceling, because the definition of this is a subtraction. The definition of subtraction says add the opposite of what's being subtracted. Negative 8 is being subtracted. The opposite of negative 8 is a positive 8. So we get 19. Now that's the top. Let's do the bottom. Now, this is multiplication, and this is multiplication. So this is 27 minus 4 times a negative is a negative. Okay? See, we got these two negatives coming together again. 27 plus 28, and we get 55. So we put our answers together, 19 over 55. So we see that Tyler was correct. Any questions about this? So this is looking at order of operations. And notice how I broke this down to keep it from being so distracting and terrifying. I did the top, which is this. I did the bottom, which is this, and then I put them together. So here is the, we did the top and then we did the bottom. Okay, so let's begin tonight's lesson, and we want to, the goal is to solve an equation. But before we can solve an equation, we've got to talk about the parts of the equation and what we're going to encounter, okay? So we want to talk about terms, okay? What is a term? So terms are parts of an algebraic expression separated by plus or minus. They're not a part of a product or quotient. So let's look at this. This is a plus, this is a minus. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 terms. Now, this is a product, okay? So we wouldn't even count this plus, okay? This is a quotient. This subtraction doesn't count. So plus or pluses or minuses, okay? So this is a minus, this is a plus. So I have 3 terms. The plus in the parentheses doesn't count, and the minus in the denominator doesn't count. So this is one group, and then this 1, 2, 3, 3 terms. All right, let's look down here. Here's a plus, a minus, and a plus. Anything separated by a plus or minus is called a term. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice this group. This is a group. This is a group. So we have 4 terms. Any questions about terms? Okay. Now we want to talk about like terms. Okay. Like terms have the same variable and the same exponent in the same place. Okay. The coefficients can be different. So we want to talk about coefficients. All right, so let's talk about like terms, okay? So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here. So to have a like term, I have to have the same variable. So in this problem, x and x, so I have the same variable here. All right, now they have to have the same exponent. This is a 2. This is the 2. So these would be like terms, 4x squared and negative 7x squared. All right, let's look at this example. Now, again, they have to have the same exponent in the same place, okay? All right, so all of these have xy's, but I need to match them up. This is x to the first power. This is y to the second power. Let's see if I got another one. X to the first, y to the second. So these would be like terms. So xy squared and negative 9xy squared. They would be like terms because they have the same variable, they have the same exponent in the same place. All right, any questions about like terms? So terms separated by pluses or minus. Like terms are separated by pluses or minus, but to have a like term, you have to have the same variable, the same exponents, and the exponents have to be in the same place. All right. Now we want to combine like terms because in order to solve an equation, we're going to have to combine like terms. So in this problem, these are the like terms. Okay. Now, in order to combine these, we add the number in front of them which we call the numerical coefficient. So negative 10a and 10a are like terms, okay? The number in front is called a numerical coefficient. And to combine these, we say negative 10 plus 10, and that gives me 0. So these combine to 0a. This is 0 times a, which is just 0. So this is 0 minus 1, which gives me negative 1. So these are like terms, and they add to give, see, what you're going to have to do is to remember your sign numbers. All right, let's take a look at this problem. This says 3b times 3. So let's talk about how you do this. 3b times 3. When we're working with numbers and variables, the numbers go in front. So I'm going to rearrange this like this. I can do this with multiplication. I cannot do this with subtraction, okay? So 3 times 3 gives me 9. This gives me 9b, okay? All right. Now, I have these errors here because I need to use my distributive property. The distributive property comes from distribute. I'm going to distribute this 11 to everything in this parenthesis through multiplication. Why multiplication? Because when this number is in front of this parenthesis, it means to multiply. So this is 11 times 2, 11 times 2 plus 11 times y. 11 times 2 is 22, and 11 times y is just 11y. That's all I can do. Now, I cannot combine these because these are not like terms. This does not have a variable. This does. All right, let's take a look at this problem. You might see a minus in front of a group of, in front of this parenthesis. So we need to use the distributive property. This and this, see these two negatives come together, they would cancel. This negative and this negative would cancel. But now this negative and this negative, a negative times a positive is a negative. So we're using the distributive property. All right, you try problem 4. Okay, so let's see what we have. We have 5 times this, 5 times 2w is 10w, minus 5 times 6, which is 30, minus 13w. All right, and so this and this would be like terms. Okay, now, if you put these together, you need to bring the sign with it, okay? So this is all right, so I want to rearrange these. If I rearrange anything, the sign has to come with it. Okay? Now, if you need to change your subtraction, do that. Subtraction means add the opposite of the number being subtracted. So I only have $10, but I owe 13. I'm in the hole. So I get negative 3W minus 30. Any questions about that? Do we need to discuss this? Always take the extra step if you need to change this. But if you have 10 and you're going to subtract 13, you can't do that because you don't have enough. So therefore, this is why this is a negative 3W. Discussion about this. All right, do this one. And put your answer in the chat. So we are combining like terms. Now, when you combine your like terms, you do not touch your base. This is telling you what you're dealing with. The number in front tells you how many of those you have. So this is negative 2a squared plus negative 8a squared. So this is your label. This is telling you what you're dealing with. The number in front is telling you how many of those you have. So negative 2 plus negative 8 is a negative 10. Okay. So this is a negative 10a squared. Okay. All right, discussion. Questions? Ask your questions. No question is not, I mean, every question is important. Okay, well, let's try another one. All right, this says simplify. Now, this is an expression, and the reason it's an expression is because I always see a plus as a minus. So try your hand with that. Now, in order to simplify this, you combine like terms. So you need to find the like terms, combine them, and that's how you would get your answer. Now, what I like to do is to go through and just underline what I see as my like terms and then just combine them, okay?
Professor, I got a question. Where do I type in the answer on this? I've tried it a couple times, but
Um, let's see. There is a chat feature at the bottom. Do you see that?
um,
Look at the
no,
bottom of your screen.
no, I don't have that.
Hold on. So, this is my screen. Do you see that?
I do.
And so here's a chat thing. Do you see that? And then you just type the answer right there.
Wait a minute. You said chat, CHAT?
Yeah, so like I can say hello.
I don't see that.
Hmm.
I don't see that on my screen.
Okay, look at the bottom.
Yeah, I am.
And what do you see at the bottom of your screen?
The bottom of mine says mute, stop video, share, and that's it.
Do you see anything to the far right?
Um, it looks like a plug in. Oh, there it is. Yes. It's a little circle. Says
Right.
chat. Okay. So that's right. In other words, I have to hit that, then put the answer, or how does that work?
Okay, well, it should be a box, right? Okay, do you see,
Yeah, here, I just see it now. When I hit that circle, it says enter chat message here.
right, right.
Okay.
You said that's my brother,
Yeah,
Click.
just hit the button, then you can enter your answer.
You said
Enjoy
that's
it.
my brother,
Okay.
Click.
Do I have to send that to you, or do you see that, or?
Yeah, I see it when you put it
Okay.
in.
All right. Okay.
Nope, that's what the doctor said. Every time you get frustrated, I want you to stop.
Can I get you, someone needs to mute themselves?
Back up. Stop.
If you need to unmute yourself, just do that. I heard that background. Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay, so these are the like terms, okay? And so this is 9x squared, and if I move this, that sign has to come with it. So this is 9x squared plus negative 10x squared. So this is 9 plus negative 10, which is negative 1. And you can just say minus x squared plus 11x minus 4. Okay, are there questions? Okay, looking good. Good answers. All right, try this one, and then we will start solving equations. So go through and underline what you think are the like terms. Use different markings or color or whatever. And then you want to combine them, and then, we'll get the answer. Once you get your answer, you can just put it in the chat. Okay, so this and this would be like terms. And this is a number and that's a number, so they would be like terms, okay? So what I'm going to do is to put, the like terms together. Now, if I put this with the 10, that minus has to come with it. And then minus 5 minus 8 plus 2x, okay? And 10x squared plus negative 8x squared. This is subtraction. Now, once you do enough of these, you might not need to change it, but I'm changing them all so that you can see. Now, this is subtraction 2, so I am subtracting a positive 5. The definition of subtraction says add the opposite of what you're subtracting. I'm subtracting a positive, so that's negative. This is subtraction. Add the opposite of what you're subtracting, so that's going to be a negative 8. And then 2x. Okay. All right, so this is my label. 10 plus a negative 8 is a 2. Negative 5 plus negative 8 is a negative 13 plus 2x. Now, when we finish with this, we want to put this in what we call descending order of the variable. Now, descending means high to low, and we're focusing on the variable. So this is my variable. This is x squared. And after x squared comes x to the first. This is x to the first, so I'll bring that in. And then the number would go last. Now, plus negative means subtract. So now I would change this back to subtraction. And if you want to wonder if you have it right, then, this is subtraction, add the opposite. If you were to change it to addition, it would change back to that. So it's 2x squared plus 2x minus 13. Any questions about that?
I think I understand. So the number has to just go. I mean, I understand. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm talking to myself, and I got it. I think I have it.
Go ahead and ask your question.
No, it's not even really a question. It was just like aha moment. I get where you're coming from more so.
Okay. Very good.
Sorry.
Aha moment.
Yeah.
Love the aha moments. Great. Okay, so now we want to go to equations, and I want to distinguish, and there's an exercise in discussion that talks about the difference between an equation and an expression, okay? So let me do a dual screen. All right, so these are expressions. This is an equation. Equations will have an equal, okay? These have equals. You don't see an equal over here, okay? So this is an expression. You simplify an expression you solve an equation. Okay? All right, so let's talk about an equation. Now, everything that we were doing, we were leading up to trying to solve an equation because these are the steps involved. Okay? So let's talk about an equation. So first of all, an equation says that two expressions are equal. So I just told you that you're going to have an equal sign. So you have to see an equal sign for it to be an equation. An equation is like a balanced scale. So let's take a few minutes and think about a balanced scale. A balanced scale is balanced on both sides. Now, you always have to practice the golden rule with the equation. What you do to one side, you must do to the other because you have to keep that scale balanced at all times. So if I take something off the left, I have to take something off the right. If I put something on the left, I have to put something on the right because the equation is like a scale. So let's pause and just, think about that. When we're solving an equation, we have a scale. We have to keep it balanced at all times. If I take something off, I have to do the same to the left and to the right. If I put something on, I have to do the same to the left and the right. All right, an equation has three parts: the left side, the equal sign, and the right side. Now, what is our goal? Our goal in solving an equation, we're trying to find out what the variable is equal to. What is it equal to? Okay? And so when we find the solution to that equation, we have solved it. So solving an equation means that we're trying to find a solution. And a solution makes the equation true. So if we were to put it back in, we would get a true statement. So when we get the final answer, okay, to our equation, it's going to look something like this. X equals 10, Y equals 11, Z equals -3. So the question is, what are you looking at? You're going to have a variable, and it will not have a coefficient. The coefficient is understood to be 1. 1x equals 10. 1y equals 11. 1z equals -3. So you can't have anything like this. So this is not solved. If you have -2x equals 11 minus x equals 3. So this is not solved. You've got another step to go. We need to have the variable and the coefficient to be 1. Variable, coefficient to be 1, the equal sign, and then what we have on the right-hand side. Okay? So let's stop. We're going to be solving equations. An equation is like a balanced scale, okay? And we have to keep it balanced at all times. To keep it balanced, we practice the golden rule. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. An equation has three parts: the left side, the right side, and the equal sign. The goal is to find out what the variable is equal to. That's called the solution, okay? The solution will always make it true. When we finish solving the equation, it needs to look something like this, okay? X equals Y equals Z equals, okay? All right, good enough. So this is our first equation. 16 equals -7x minus 8 plus 3x, okay? Now, some students like to have the variables on the left-hand side. They just feel more comfortable with that, okay? You can do that because an equation is like a scale. You know that with a scale, we can turn the scale around. So if that makes you feel better, let's turn this scale around. So I can turn this around. All right, are we okay with that? So what is the first thing that we do? We need to simplify, okay? Now, what does simplify means? It means remove parentheses, remove any fractions or decimals that you have, and add like terms on the same side. So the first step is to simplify, okay? Do you have any parentheses? Do you have any fractions or decimals? Do you have any like terms on the same side? Okay. Now, we don't have any parentheses. We don't have any fractions or decimals, but we do have like terms on the same side. See, this is a like term and that's a like term. So we need to combine those. Okay. So we need to combine these like terms. So I'm going to move them together. And we want to combine these like terms. So combine them for me and tell me what you get. So negative 7x plus 3x is how much? Okay, negative 4. Okay. All right, now that I have combined like terms on the same side, the next thing I want to do is to isolate. Okay. I've got to isolate the variable. The variable has to be on the side by itself. The numbers have to be on the other side. So the next step is to, let me bring this down. So the next step is to isolate, okay? The variables and numbers are different, therefore they must be on different sides of the equation. To accomplish this, you will be adding or subtracting, not multiplying, okay? All right, so here is my variable. It's on this is my equation. This is the left side of the equation. This is the right side of the equation. Variables and numbers cannot be on the same side. So this is out of place. It cannot be over on the left-hand side. So therefore, I have to remove it. Now, I just can't pick it up and move it. I have to use sound mathematical practices, okay? Because this is a minus 8, in order to get rid of that, I need to add plus 8 because a minus and a plus will cancel each other out. But now, this is a scale. So if I add plus on the left, I have to add plus on the right. Let me stop and see if there are questions. Everybody okay with that? Now, once you perform an operation, you need to clean it up. Start on the left, negative 4x. These cancel. This is equal, and then this is 24. Now, I have variables on the left, numbers on the right. The last step is to divide. Remember, we haven't finished because we don't want to know what negative 4x is. We want to know what 4x is. So the last step is to divide. It says, if the coefficient of the variable you're solving for is not 1, then you must divide by its coefficient so that it becomes 1. So when I divide a variable by its coefficient, I get 1. So the coefficient of this variable is negative 4. I'm going to divide negative 4 over here. And because this is a scale, I need to divide negative 4 over here because I have to keep it balanced. Once I do that, I need to see what I have. X, because this cancels, equals negative 6. Discussion about this. Any questions? Everybody okay with what we did? All right, let's try this one. All right. Simplify. Do you have any parentheses? No. Do we have any fractions or decimals? No. Do we have any like terms on the same side? So let's take a look. On the left, I have 2v and 9. On the right, I have 8v and 21. They are not like terms. All right, so now I need to begin to isolate, okay? I need to get the variables on one side, and then I need to get the numbers on the other. So let's focus on the variables first. As I look at this problem, I have a variable on the left, and I have a variable on the right, okay? So to keep this simple, we're going to put the variables on the left, and I'll tell you a little trick later. Put variables on left. So let's focus on that. If I want the variables on the left, this is okay. This is not okay. Now, why is it not okay? Because it is not on the left, it's on the right. Okay? So what do I need to do? I need to remove it. I just can't pick it up and move it. I have to undo it. Remember, we always have to undo. This is a positive 8v, so I need to undo that. So this needs to be minus 8v here. And because this is a balanced scale, I have to do the same thing to the left. Once I subtract 8v from both sides, I need to clean it up. 2 plus negative 8 is negative 6, plus 9 equals 21. Let me stop and see if there are questions. I haven't finished. I just put all variables on the left. Now I need to put the numbers on the right. Now you can put these on any side that you want. Students often just like to put the variables on the left and the numbers on the right, okay? All right, so now I need to put the numbers on the right. So let's go through. This is the left. This is a number. It's not okay. This is a number. It is okay. So this 9 is out of place. Okay, this 9 is out of place. It should not be on the left side. It should be on the right side. So I need to undo that. This is a plus 9. So to undo that, I need to do minus 9 from both sides. Then I need to go to start at the left, negative 6v equals 12. Okay, I have isolated. Okay. All right, the final step is to divide. It says divide by the coefficient of the variable if it is not 1. The coefficient of this variable is negative 6. Okay, so I need to divide everything by negative 6. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is a positive 1. 12 divided by negative 6 is negative 2. So the solution is v equals negative 2. Questions about this? All right, let me let you try this one. Now, when you're solving an equation, if you have three terms, you know that you need to do some condensing, okay, on each side. If you have two terms on a side and they're not like terms, you've already simplified. This says the first step is to simplify. Remove parentheses, remove fractions and decimals, add like terms on the same side. So I got three terms. Chances are I can combine something. See, these are like terms. 17W minus 4W. Okay? So that gives us 13. And I have it down to two terms on each side. This is my variable expression. This is my number. I can't combine these. So now I need to decide, I need to get the variables on one side and the numbers on the other. Again, it does not matter. So variables left. Let's focus on that. So this is the left side. This is okay. This is the right side. This is not okay. And because this is not okay, I need to get it off that side. It can't be on all the variables need to be on the left. This is a positive 4W, so therefore to undo that, I need to do negative 4W to both sides. 13 plus negative 4 is 9. All right, now I need to put the numbers on the right. Okay. All right, so let's see. This is the left. So this is not okay. This is okay, because this is the right-hand side, okay? So since that 27 is not okay, I have to undo that. To undo a plus 27, I need to subtract 27 from the left. And because this is a balanced scale, I need to subtract 27 from the right. Then I need to clean it up. Start at the left, 9W, this cancels, equals negative 45. I don't want to know what 9 of those are equal to. I want to know what one of these. So I divide by 9. And W equals negative 5. Okay, discussion about anything here. Questions about anything that I worked out. Okay, work this one. We got a parenthesis this time. Work this one out. So we have parentheses. So therefore, I need to remove the parentheses. And to do that, remember we're going to use that distributive property. 3 times 5, 3 times y. So this is 3y minus 15 minus 7y equals 9. Okay? So I remove the parentheses. Okay? I don't have any fractions or decimals, but I do have like terms. Okay? So let's do the like terms right here. All right, so we have 3y plus negative 7y. 3 plus a negative 7 is a negative 4y. Minus 15 equals 9. Okay? So we have finished simplifying. So we're ready to isolate. Variables on left. Numbers on the right. So this is the left side. My number is okay. This is the right side. This is okay. That's not okay. Okay? So that minus 15 is not in the right place. I need to undo that. So to undo that, I add 15 to both sides. So I get negative 4w is equal to 24. And then the final step is I need to divide negative 4w equals 24. Negative 4y, excuse me. So I need to divide by this negative 4. So y equals negative 6. Okay? Very good. Okay, so it is 9:01. Let me stop and see if there are any questions. We talked about terms, like terms. We talked about combining like terms. We talked about the distributive property. We use our distributive property. We looked at terms, like terms, combining like terms, because this is what we need to do when we solve an equation. We also looked at the difference between an expression. These are expressions. And then this is an equation because we have an equal. And then we went into solving an equation. And we said that an equation is like a balanced scale. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. And then we use this to help us to solve. Are there any questions? If if you think of something, just email me and we can talk about that. I'm going to stop the recorder.